The CRF is located at 2 sites in South London, where we have one of the most diverse populations in the UK. The focus in the Guy's CRF is on cell therapy and early phase treatments. Just along the river, by the Houses of Parliament at St Thomas's, we have the adult facility and the imaging and children's CRF in Evelina London Children's Hospital. This world-class infrastructure is central to taking forward our experimental medicine pipeline. The shared management structure of the BRC and the CRF means that we can very efficiently take studies that are coming from the experimental pipeline and put them into the CRF. We're already working to the highest standards of good clinical practice and are in the process of seeking MHRA accreditation as a Phase 1 unit.
The CRF is our space for experimental medicine. And in particular, we're running first-in-human studies across the disciplines. And those run the full spectrum from small molecules, immunotherapies, antibodies, and especially cell therapies. And that's where we rely particularly on the GMP facility, which is right here on the CRF across the corridor from the clinical space and the 15th floor of the tower.
One study is a first-in-man study in kidney transplant recipients, harnessing the body's own ability to make regulatory white blood cells. We're aiming to use those cells to infuse into kidney transplant recipients after transplantation in order to reduce or even eliminate the need for anti-rejection drugs. The GMP facility is where we can purify the cells, we can enrich them, we can store them, and then right next door you have the clinical research facility where the cells can be infused into the patients with proper monitoring. And then further on, after the transplant, we can take blood samples from the patients and analyse those in the immune monitoring facilities so that we can see if the cells are still active and still doing their job.
At Evelina London Children's Hospital, we have a dedicated clinical research facility in Snowy Owl with excellent clinical space. The clinical research team also use other areas of the hospital, the high dependency and critical care areas, and also the state-of-the-art imaging facilities. Since the NIHR award, we've been able to more than double the volume of clinical research activity at Evelina.
It is extremely important to have a dedicated research facility for children and young people. Without this sort of environment that we have here, the research we produced, which led to some important changes in infant feeding guidelines and continue to influence the development of infant feeding guidelines, would just have been impossible.
Birth is one of the most dangerous times of anyone's life, and it's also a very difficult time to do rigorous scientific research because babies are so small and so vulnerable. So we brought the Clinical Research Facility Imaging Centre into the intensive care unit so we can take even the smallest and most vulnerable baby into the scanner to do imaging research. It's a very, very powerful technology.
Facilities here are wonderful. They're set up to make the children feel really comfortable. It's a really calm and relaxing environment for children and parents.
The imaging facilities we have at the Guy's St Thomas's Clinical Research Facility are some of the best in the world and have real unique capabilities. For example, being able to do interventional procedures like cardiac catheterization inside an MR scanner. Since the last CRF award, our capacity has hugely increased. We now have 6 research MRI systems, a number of PET systems, and we've also been successful to get London's first 7 Tesla ultra-high field MRI system that will be a fantastic addition to our clinical research facilities.
Our vision for research at Guy's and St Thomas's is to embed it at the heart of the trust so it becomes business as usual. I think we've already made great strides on this journey. The BRC and its associated clinical research facilities have been key to helping the trust become one of the largest recruiters to clinical trials in the UK.
Our clinical research facility is a critical piece of infrastructure, both for supporting NIHR studies and also Biomedical Research Centre experimental medicine studies. It's the only clinical research facility that has embedded immune monitoring and cell therapy manufacturing research platforms that link clinical case studies with early phase experimental medicine infrastructure.